Welcome everyone to another Wednesday night. I know it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday night. Thank you very much for showing up. But usually we do this on Wednesday. The fundamentals to gain inner peace with your host, Coach Menachem Bernfeld. And tonight is an exciting night. We're doing the 10th week. And basically it's the last week of the course. Not that we're done. There's a lot to talk about, but this is week number 10. And it's time to celebrate, just to see that we're here, we're listening, we're doing the work, and Baruch Hashem, wherever you are on the journey, every time you start something, you always, wonder what it's going to look like when you're on the other side. And here we are on the other side of the course, and everybody with their own experience, their own journey. So it's time to celebrate and to become aware of it, to reflect. What did it look like? Take a moment and think, what seeds did I plant? We planted a lot of seeds and they're all unfolding. It's not stopping this week. It's continuing. It's only the beginning. And the breathing, you can see the benefits of taking some time off and doing the breathing, and you can continue that. And that helps you for the day. Did I do the breathing every day and I didn't miss? No, I did miss. There were days that I missed, days that I only did it once. Sometimes I didn't do it at all. Could you imagine? But it didn't stop me. I continued, and that's important. We continue. Doesn't always work out perfectly, but we continue, and that's good. So we could continue after this week also. So we'll recap a little bit from last week, continue this week, and then we'll discuss what we'll do. Continuation. There's more to read in the book. There's the beginning of the book that we didn't read. There's the end of the book, so we'll see. So last week, the conscious response was, I am loved unconditionally. And if you did the reading, interesting reading and ideas, but just idea of what's love. How do we define love? What you picked up when you were young, how you understood it when you were a teenager, and getting married, thinking that everything is amazing, and then you find out different things about yourself. Maybe in the beginning you think it's the other person, but eventually you learn it's all about you. But to understand, what am I looking for? So it's a question that we can all ask ourselves. What's something that when I have that, my life will be great? And usually it's a feeling under that thing. Talk about, you want something different in your life because that makes you feel a certain way. You might not like that feeling. I want to feel better. I want to feel good. If that changes, something outside, then I'll feel better. And sometimes you do it, it works maybe for a month, two, a year or two, but then you find yourself in the same place. So what it is really an escape. People can be busy renovating. You can be busy, making bigger, nicer, different, change, going, coming, shopping. There's a lot of different things that people do. And working. Work is also something that distracts. But it's, what's that something that I think that when that will change, I will feel better. So it's important to be aware of that. And then we become aware of what's that feeling that I have that I don't like. And I want to cover it up. I don't want to think about it. So it's finding that thing under it, under the renovation that you're doing. Why are you doing it? What's that feeling that you don't like? And you think it's going to change. Now, I'm not saying that, people move, people renovate, people buy new things. That's okay. But is it coming from a response or a reaction? And that's really the question. And that's the question of what we're discussing here. And overall in this course, am I in control, or there's something else inside of me, something pushing me that I can't sit with? Am I responding or reacting with the people around me, situation? So that's, we turn inwards, and then we become aware of, wait a second, it's a feeling that I can change without anything changing in the outside of me. I can change that feeling. So first you're aware of that feeling and you sit with it. You're not scared of it. You feel it. You don't like it, but you sit with it. And by sitting with it, that's how we heal. You don't react to that feeling. You're not reacting. The feelings come up. We learn how to sit with the feelings, with the breathing. But you don't have to react. You understand what it is, or you don't understand. You don't always have to understand where the feeling comes from, what it is. But you can learn how to sit with it. And then you see what you're missing. You become aware of, why do you want to buy that new thing? Why do you want that change? Why do you want that different job, the different, whatever it is? Why do you want it? Because of that feeling that you don't like. What's missing? What am I looking for? It's a feeling that you have, maybe coming from a belief, but that feeling you can fill up by yourself. So that's really getting to that place of, I love myself unconditionally, the way I am now. Nothing has to change. Isn't that amazing? How do we do that? And it's not easy. It's an interesting concept. I can love myself the way I am, the way I am now, where I am, the way I feel. It's okay. And again, it is work, especially for beginners. It takes time to get there, and it's a process. But if you're on the journey, hopefully, we did 1 week at a time. Every week has a different conscious response, and every week we can talk about for a few weeks. We did it, 1 week, which is great, but it's a topic that we can continue talking about, thinking and trying to do the exercises. But hopefully when you get to this week number 10, you can get to that place of loving yourself unconditionally. And eventually you go to next week, this coming week number 10 is, I appreciate what I am. I appreciate what I am, where I am. I just appreciate it. And you feel it inside. You have to feel it. You can say it. In the beginning, it's hard. The negative comes up. We don't believe it. There's those voices that say, really? You're just trying to make yourself feel good. It's part of the course. It's amazing, but it's not real. Which we'll talk about. Okay, we forgot to do the grounding. Let's take a minute. A deep breath. So here we are on a Tuesday night. Let's take a moment to take a deep breath and become aware of where you are physically. You're laying in bed, sitting on a chair, maybe driving, listening to a recording. Just become aware. Taking some time off. You deserve time off. It's okay to take time off. Take a deep breath. And then we turn inwards to see, how do I feel? How do I feel? What did my day look like? Am I relaxed or stressed? Some people never experience stress. They're always relaxed, or they're not aware. But if you take some time off, it might be hard to take time off, and that's a sign that you're running. So just take a deep breath, become aware of where you are, the feelings that come up, turn inwards. What do I feel in my body? What does my body feel? And you can do a body scan from your head to your toe just to see if there are any tingling, any heavy, stressful, any physical feelings that you have. Okay, so here we are. And the breathing that we're doing in the past 10 weeks helps us become present, become aware of the moment, of the here, of the now, of here I am. So week number 10 is bringing things all together, taking it, seeing where we are, what we picked up. And the conscious response for this week is I appreciate what I am. And again, it's unconditionally. And sometimes you can ask yourself a question. What would you answer if I ask you, who are you? Stop for a moment and think, what's the response? Who am I? And sometimes we get ideas of the things that you do based on the things that I do, but that's conditional. But who am I unconditionally? I am who I am, not depending on the things that I do. So that's one of the concepts in this week, in this reading. So this week reading is also three parts. Part number one is consciously entering the unified field. It's also an interesting idea. We're not going to talk about it too much, but you can read it. Number two, the reading number two is living on purpose. And the third one is appreciation. Appreciation. Let's talk about a little bit about living on purpose. So many of us starting the 10-week course, the intention was I'll find my purpose in life. What is my purpose? And people think that when they understand their purpose in life, they feel good. You'll feel balanced, harmony, fulfillment, content. So I know what my purpose and I do it. So you can see already how we connect it to something that we do. And that's a belief that we picked up, something that I do. If you enjoy what you do and you feel that's your purpose, you feel good and you're good to go. But that's not what we're looking for. That's really a belief it's covering up. It's a misconception, like we mentioned last week or a few weeks ago. If we're not loved unconditionally, if we aren't unconditionally loved, then our love comes from conditions. The way we feel good comes from doing the right thing. You feel like you're pleasing others, people around you are happy, so that's the condition. So we try to figure out, what should I do? What am I supposed to do to become deserving of that love? So that's unconditional. That's conditional. What do I have to do to get that love? So that means I have to do something to get the love. So the love is conditional. And many people grow up that way. If I do a certain thing, if I do the right thing, if I follow, if I'm part of, then I'm loved. People like me, I don't make too much trouble, and then I'm loved. So basically, my love is conditional on the things that I do. So now, growing up, we're trying to figure out, what's my purpose? I'm looking for a purpose because that's the only way I'm going to feel good about myself, knowing what my purpose is and I'm doing my purpose. Otherwise, we don't feel loved. We become uncomfortable within ourselves. It's a feeling. And uncomfortable with ourselves. Just looking at ourselves in the mirror can be uncomfortable. If you're not doing anything great, you don't feel good about what you do outside, productive. Otherwise, you feel uncomfortable. And what I need to do is continue doing. Because when I stop, I find myself meeting myself, and that uncomfortable feeling comes up. And again, it's a feeling. So for beginners, if you're not aware of that feeling, It takes time to actually feel it. But I would give you that exercise of sitting in one place and breathing. Do nothing for 5 minutes. And for many, it comes up. It's like, do nothing for 5 minutes, and then what? And why? It's too uncomfortable. Why? Why are you uncomfortable? Why can't you just sit and relax? Just take it easy. Doesn't make sense. Something doesn't make sense. So we have to please others. We have to please ourselves. We don't feel good with ourselves. So think to yourself, what's that thing that when you do it, you feel good? Otherwise, I wouldn't feel good about myself. It's only because I do A, B, and C. It's only because I have in my life A, B, and C, I feel good. Otherwise, I wouldn't feel good. And that's where people pleasing comes in, something that we can't stop doing. It could be an example is it's a little hard to use. Let's say somebody who does chesed. And it's amazing. And we're not telling them to stop. But the question is that coming from, is that reactive or a response? Is it a choice that you make? Or I don't have a choice? How do I know? By trying one day not to do it. What happens if one day you don't do it? You'll ask somebody else to do it for you. Somebody else will take care of the situation. So if you're not able to say no, I just have to do it. So then you're not making a choice. You don't have a choice. So you're doing it. You just have to. Because if I don't, fill in the gap. If I don't do it, what do you mean? Who else is going to do it? We'll find somebody. You don't have to do it. I can't. I have to. And that's sometimes finishing your to-do list. Going to sleep. There's a list that I need to do. I cannot go to sleep when there are things that I still have to do. I just have to. And they can be perfectionism. They can be people pleasing. All of these things. That's the question. The question is, am I responding? Is it a choice that I make? It's something that I want to do, or I have to do it. And why do I have to do it? Because if I don't feel good. Something is missing if I don't do it. So you become aware of that feeling, of that uncomfortable feeling. So it could be you picked it up when you were young. The only way you love yourself is the same way you got love when you were younger. It's if things work out, you're doing the right thing, that's when you're loved. And now you might be giving it over to your kids the same way, do A, B, and C, and then you'll be great. Do that. But if you don't do it, you know, then what happens? Start screaming and yelling. You have to do it. There are no two options. And basically, you learn very young that the only way I'm accepted, the only way people love me is when I do the right thing, and I have to continue doing it. So that's conditional. So basically, that's conditional, and we're here on week number 10, after all the breathing, to help us stop and be. Take a deep breath. It's okay to take some time off. No, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can take it easy. And we go back to becoming human beings instead of being a human doing, constantly doing and doing and doing. We can just be. Just be. And that's what we learn in this with the breathing. Stop. Start realizing, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? And what am I doing because it's reactive? And how do we become aware of it? By taking some time off, being in a place of quiet, of just breathing, of stillness. And then you can learn how to be. Just be. The feelings come up. Again, there are feelings that come up. And like we discussed many times, how do we heal? So we're not really stopping to feel so that we should heal. We're stopping to feel just because we feel. We're learning how to feel, to be better at feeling, and not to feel better. Because when you stop, you don't always feel better. Sometimes you don't like it, but you become better at feeling. When you stop, you feel those feelings, and you see where it comes up, and you're aware of it without any stories, and you stop saying that means, and it's because you just feel it because you feel it. That's it. We stop and we feel. Sometimes feelings come up that we don't like, and we feel it. Why should I feel it? Because it's there. Because you feel it. And eventually we can get to that place where we can love ourselves unconditionally and just be, so that we can continue doing from a place of response. We're responding to something that I have to do. I made a choice to do it. I like to do it. I have to do it for whatever reason. But it's not constantly running, and you can think straight, always reacting. So that's living on purpose through the breathing. After that, we have learning how to appreciate, something that you'll read. I'm not going to talk about it tonight. I just want to mention after the course, there are in the book, there are many ideas to see how things have changed. And he calls it where there's a gardener, there's a garden. And the past few weeks, we've planted some seeds. And I'm sure you're able to see change. You're able to see differences in your day, things that you look at, perspective, different things that came up. And it's all seeds that are eventually going to blossom. It's only the beginning. But at the end of the book, there are a lot of different ideas that come up, and I'm just going to read a few, and you'll see if it resonates. So one of them is we start responding instead of reacting. So that's pretty much the basic. We discussed it a lot. Your day is something that you thought about before. You looked at it, and you made decisions. So you're responding instead of going to sleep and things are not done. There's so many things that I still have to do, and the next day is again a continuation and continuing another week and another week, and you're not sure what's going on. What are you trying to accomplish? What are you doing? So that's reacting. Another idea is some people have more energy. And you read why, if you're not aware, you can feel drained at the end of the day. But by doing the breathing, stopping, another thing that comes up is people start slowing down. They can slow down. And you think to yourself, why do I want to slow down? There's so many things that I have to do. Exactly. It's hard. But eventually you can feel good, you can relax, you can do what you need to do. It helps for procrastination. You think by doing things fast, everything's going to get done. But really, you're reacting. You're not really aware what has to be done, what's first, what's second. And you've finished the whole day, not a minute to breathe. The things you had to do, you're pushing off for tomorrow. Procrastination. And really, what it is, it's something under it. It's a feeling that we have. I don't want to make that phone call. Why not? It's a feeling. And with doing the work, we become aware of the feeling. And we're not scared of it. You sit with the feeling. And then you make a decision. Is it something that I have to do or not? If I need to do it, then I do it. But I don't like that feeling. That's okay. We're not changing that feeling. There's a feeling, okay, we can see maybe it's coming from belief. Maybe you think that call is not going to work out. We can talk about it, but it's just a feeling. And now you make a conscious decision. What do I have to do? There's a lot more in the book, but hopefully next week, Emetz Hashem, we'll continue. And again, congratulations to you all for finishing the course. It's amazing. There is a little bit more of reading. We'll continue, and then we'll see what we'll do next. But just coming back, I believe every week, every conscious response that we did, we can discuss, and you'll see what comes up. You can continue the breathing. I do want to read, he has a poem in the book, so I'm going to read it. Interesting. So here's how it goes. As we reawaken, let us gently leave the bed, quietly tiptoe out of the darkened room and into the morning light. Let us play here. Let us not shake others in their beds. They are sleeping because they require rest. When they reawaken and hear us playing, they shall come and join us. Many times, people that do this course, they learn new things about themselves and about the world around them. And they feel that urge of getting everybody else on this path. And whenever, wherever they are, this is what they talk about, and people look at them like, what do you want? I don't know what you're talking about. This is a journey. We're on our own journey, and it's only I could feel what I felt, and you can feel what you felt. And it's not something that you can talk about with other people. Eventually, when they are ready, they will reawaken and start their journey. But we learn how to take care of ourselves, understand ourselves. And when we react to something out there, we understand it's not pointing fingers, it's not them. It's the way I feel, it's a feeling that I have. And we don't have to change anybody. It's our own journey, the way we feel. And hopefully you feel amazing continuing this journey. So that's it for tonight. Thank you very much. We'll meet again next week, Wednesday night. You can send any questions to coachmenachem@gmail.com. I would ask all of you that are part of the course, or even if you've done just a few weeks, just to send me an email, a line or two, to let me know of how it went, whatever comes up. And thank you for those who sent it, and that's amazing to see the change and whatever comes up. But a line or two, how you felt before and now, different perspectives, and how you're taking whatever comes up. That'll be really appreciated. And that's it for tonight. I'll wait a minute or two if anybody has questions. You can put them in the chat. And we'll see if we can answer some questions. So here's a great question. Isn't our tachlis of existence in our doing? Serving Hashem? That's an amazing question. So I'll read it again. Isn't our tachlis of existence, isn't that the reason why we're here? To do, to constantly do, to serve Hashem. And it's a very good question. So I'll give you a minute. I'll give myself a minute to think. But I always like to see the questioner. Probably what you're asking is, you feel that you constantly should be doing things. And that's what Hashem wants. You want to do what Hashem wants. The reason why you're here is because I want to serve Hashem. And I believe that Hashem wants me to keep on doing and serving Him. So that means if I sit down and take time for myself and relax, take a deep breath, then you're doing something wrong. Okay, so that's a belief. But again, it's a feeling. If I believe that the reason why I'm here is to do, so then I want to do it 24/7, right? I can't stop. Because if I stop, I'm doing something wrong. So again, the way I would answer it is, yes, to serve Hashem. The reason why we're here is to serve Hashem. Now, how do we serve Hashem? Are you serving Hashem from a place of running away from something, or you are so proud of yourself. You love yourself. You love the place where you are now, no matter what. And you want to continue doing what you need to do. Okay, so it's a very important question. Where are you coming from? I know you're constantly doing all day, which is amazing. But is it coming from a place of running away from something, or it's coming from a conscious place, responding to knowing where you are, what you have to do, and you're doing it? And the difference is subconscious. The difference is subconscious. And to become aware of it is take some time, sit down, and try to relax, and you'll see why it's so hard for you. Right? And then you become aware of the things that you're not happy about. And thinking that by doing all these things, I'll be happy. I'll be happy if I do this, I'll be happy with this. And eventually, no, that doesn't fill you up. There's something else inside that's holding you back. So that's a great question. And thank you for asking. And that would take us also to the idea of self-care. Do you believe Hashem wants you to take care of yourself? See what comes up. What are those thoughts? What is your belief? Do you believe Hashem wants you to take care of yourself? Well, definitely, for sure. Because he loves you. The only way you'll be able to continue is if you take care of yourself. He wants you to take care of yourself. So think about that. Because if you're reacting, it's probably a place you're not happy about yourself. You can't stop. You can't take care of yourself. You're taking care of everybody else around you, which is amazing. But you're drained. At the end of the day, you feel like falling apart. And that's not what Hashem wants. So thank you very much. Congratulations again for the 10 weeks. Baruch Hashem, we're here, we made it, and Amit Hashem will continue next Wednesday night. Hatzlacha, and go take care of yourself. Continue the breathing. If you like the warm bath, continue it. It's amazing. That's self-care. And we'll be in touch next week.